Hey, this is Michael Imhotep, founder of the African History Network, host of the African History Network show. I'm a talk show host, researcher, lecturer, writer, and historian. So we are back with Kenya K. Stevens, CEO of the Progressive Love Academy. And we're going to talk about a very special course that she offers called How to Communicate Your Most Intense Emotions Without an Argument. Now, Kenya, this sounds like this is something that would be very important for couples. All
Yeah.
right. So explain this to us and the benefits. Explain to us this course.
Absolutely. My husband and I used to fight a lot. I've been married for 25 years. And in my 20s, I didn't really know how to express myself. I didn't know what I wanted, what I needed to feel better when I was emotional. And my husband, frankly, was afraid of my emotions. So I know a lot of men who are like afraid of feminine emotion. Like they'll run away, they'll ghost, they'll just get out of Dodge. I guess y'all think we're going to explode. What are y'all?
See, there's this myth of this angry black woman also. And you know, we deal with the negative stereotypical images in the media, in movies and things like this of ourselves.
Yes.
So in relationships, you know, that can creep into that.
Right. Well, me and my husband since wrote a book called Up Level Communication, where we support we support couples in having these intense conversations. Because, a person's emotions have to be heard. Like men in our culture are taught to keep their emotions a little bit suppressed. Right. So if they need to cry, they need to scream, they need to shout, they need to throw something, they really don't do it. And they really, I feel like they get sick around holding in emotion. Well, women don't hold in the emotion as much. And it feels like we're, quote unquote, angry because we're actually expressing these emotions. The problem with the way we express them is we don't put no container around them. It's like letting out a wild animal in your house. And so the book and our system supports us in understanding how to have a language framework that works.
Okay. Now, one of the things you talk about is with fulfilling communication comes deeper intimacy. With fulfilling communication comes deeper intimacy. Talk about that.
Well, I also teach tantric sex and orgasm. And I was saying how women don't trust men to hold them, to hold the emotion of that orgasm. It's the same in the conversation. We don't trust that the man won't run away if we're angry, or run away if we crying, or run away. And so, no, they will run away if we don't know how to have the conversation in a way that makes them stay, in a way that makes them hear you and listen and respond in the ways that you need.
Okay. So when in relationships, when people communicate intense emotions, you ask the question, do you end up in an argument? Okay. And you talked about oftentimes women don't have a container around their feelings and things like this. Right. So you talk about emotional expression in this course. You say emotional expression is often not well received by others, especially when expressing feelings that may be a result of actions others have taken that hurt your feelings.
Right.
So the argument happens because of what?
Because I'm blaming you for how I feel. I'm shaming you for how I feel. And I'm acting as if what I'm saying is the fact. You got home at 7:15. No, it was 7 o'clock, baby. I told you I'd be home by 7. But it was 7:15 when you walked in the door. That's not true. That's just, I'm blaming you. I'm accusing you. I'm shaming you. And so, this happens every day. I'm really expressing to women how to get that across without shaming or blaming your partner. I can give you an example of that, but we have hundreds of examples in the book. So one way that I teach women to communicate to men if they want to be heard is, here's how it does. You walk in the door at 7:15, Michael. That's what I think. You think it's 7. I think it's 7:15. You late. So I'm going to tell you, I'm not just going to come up to you and come out my mouth and start telling you what I feel about that. First, I'm going to ask for consent to vent. So if I want to vent to you, I'm going to ask you, Michael, can I share a vent with you? This is just my ego speaking. You've done nothing wrong. This is just how my ego is feeling. I'm having a little problem. I'm at a level 5. Could you hear my vent?
Right.
So how would you feel if I came to you like that, rather than just coming to you out of my mouth, whatever I want to say?
Okay. So it's more channeled and it's more focused.
Yes.
Okay, as opposed to an explosion.
Yes. Yes. And even on the opposite spectrum, some women don't communicate at all, and the man asking what's wrong, nothing.
Right. And then it builds up over time, and then it just explodes, and you have no idea what happened. You just say, pass me the remote. Then all of a sudden they start talking about stuff that happened 15 years ago. It just explodes.
Right. And so psychologists will say, well, we have a communication problem, but they have never identified what it is. Our system up level is an indigenous way to communicate where we identify the problem. The problem is we're venting without container. We don't know that it's just our ego speaking. We don't understand that it's just our perspective. Nobody's lying. Women are used to accusing men of lying. You lying, you lying. That's not true. They're not lying. They're sharing their perspective while you have your perspective. You see that?
Okay. So yeah. So and this is interesting because each person gets to share their perspective without invalidating the other person's perspective.
Yes, sir.
Okay.
That's exactly it. And the person gets to feel heard, seen, and met. Oftentimes, if I share my perspective, even if I do it in a very relaxed way, Michael, you was late. I don't really like when people are late. That's still accusing you. So you're going to defend yourself. No, I wasn't late. And that's what starts the back and forth. We want to end the back and forth. English is a language of war. Our culture is a language of war. We've learned a language of war. Right. And so Up Level provides a new language system for our people, for anyone who wants to use it.
Okay. All right. And this course is available at progressiveloveacademy.com. This is the how to communicate your most intense emotions without an argument. And I'm going to flip over to your website here and show us
uplevel.com. You can get it from Progressive Love Academy, but specifically uplevel.com.
Okay, uplvl.com.
That's right.
Uplevel.com. All right, and I'm just going to show the cover here, so people can see this. They'll know it when they see it here. How to communicate your most intense emotions without an argument. A virtual workshop. So this is 60 minutes. So give people an overview of this. Explain to them what it's like, the actual workshop.
Absolutely. When you leave this workshop, you will know how to express even your most intense emotions. And you're going to feel as if your partner has listened to you. He did not, or she did not debate you. He or she did not argue with you, tell you crazy because you have an emotion. You're going to learn how to ask for exactly what you need to feel better. And this is what the workshop is about. It really builds intimacy, it builds connection, it builds trust between couples.
Okay, and we just want to go through these 4 here quickly. The person may be, so emotional expression is often not well received by others, especially when expressing feelings that may be a result of actions others have taken that hurt your feelings. The argument happens because 1, the person may be feeling guilt and shame. 2, the person may be feeling unable to successfully soothe you. So explain that because that's a new one.
Yeah, because men in particular, because I'm a woman, I'm speaking from my experience, they don't want to approach a conversation where they don't feel successful, like they can't successfully help you to feel better. So if you approach them in a way where they feel afraid, they don't feel like they can help you feel better, you don't know what you need to feel better, you just want to argue all night, they don't want to deal with that. And so I learned that the hard way.
So that, okay, so that reminds me of my parents, because my parents been married over 50 years. And I remember when I used to live with my parents, my mother would talk about things at work, etc. And she would say, because I know she would tell me, she said she just wanted to get off her chest. Yeah. Whereas my dad is coming from the perspective of, okay, she wants him to solve the problem.
Right.
Okay, so is this what you're talking about?
That's exactly what I'm talking about, and especially if the problem is you. You see what I'm saying?
Well, the problem wasn't him. It's something at work. But
right, it was something at work.
He's coming from the perspective. Okay, you're telling me about this problem. So you're telling me this problem because you want me to solve the problem, whereas she just wanted him to listen.
Right. So there's a process called empathy, and empathy is a way that you relate to a person. No. Your dad didn't know how to be empathetic towards your mom. Oh, that sounds so terrible. Tell me more. Oh my goodness. Yeah, I've been in situations like that. That's ugly. I know that must have felt crazy. You know, that's a way of having empathy toward a person who is venting instead of trying to solve their problem. Most people don't know how to have empathy. They say that a lack of empathy means you're a psychopath. So all of us are psychopaths at some level because we have not learned empathy in this culture. Up level teaches us to have empathy for others, even if the complaint is about us.
So I think in this culture, oftentimes men are taught to solve problems, as opposed to just listening.
Yes.
And we think that we're helping when you come and tell us your problem. We think we're helping with trying to help you solve the problem, when really you just want to vent and you just want us to listen.
Right. Right. And it's even more complex than that. We may want a specific reply. We may want you to say some specific words that will help us feel better, but we don't tell you what those words are. Because we don't want to tell you. You should know what we want. And
so we have to be mind readers, right? And we're not psychics.
That's not fair. Not fair. So
we're not Dionne Warwick, right? So
no, and a lot of relationships end because of this.
Exactly.
It's just a lack of tools and training. So that's the training we provide over at Up Level.
Okay, so that's very interesting, because it's like because I remember, you know, I remember the previous relationship, right? So my girlfriend at the time would get on me for assuming certain things,
right?
Okay, and then you know, it's really interesting. So let's talk about this for a minute. Hold on. Okay, so she would get on me about assuming certain things, but then she would do the same thing. She would assume certain things. Okay. I remember, for example, she went on a girlfriend's weekend. Okay. And then I'm asking, okay, so it was I live in downtown Detroit. So it was in downtown Detroit. So I was like, okay, so why can't we meet each other? Blah, blah, blah. She was like, you know, well, that goes against the rules of the girlfriend weekend. It's supposed to be no men. I'm like, how the hell am I supposed to know what the rules are? I ain't never been on a girlfriend's weekend before. I ain't never read a handbook about it. I don't know what the rules are. So first you tell me don't assume, then you assume I know the rules of the girlfriend's weekend. I don't.
Right.
We should have come to you for a relationship counselor.
But, I would love that. Yes. These kind of communication faux pas are very common, and they literally cause breakups.
Exactly.
It's crazy.
Exactly.
Another thing that causes a big problem in relationships with communication is the processing of the emotion.
Okay.
So nobody knows how to process their emotion. They think they know. They say, I'm not talking to you. I'm processing. No, you're not. You don't even know.
Yeah, you know, I've heard that word a number of times. I'm like, what the hell does that mean? I know what a word processor is. I mean, but it's what is it you have to process? I know what a food processor is. I mean, what? Come on.
A lot of people talk about I'm gonna take space and process. The Up Level system provides actually what is processing. Processing is the process of asking, how did I create this? Can you repeat after me? Everybody watching. How did
I create this? So this is what processing means.
It should. Not in the West. In the West, it means nothing. Just like love means nothing. Just like all these terms, forgiveness means nothing. These are just nebulous terms. Okay. In my system, it means something. There are 3 steps you take to find out how you created any scenario in your life.
Wow.
So you're going to take personal responsibility for everything that has happened in your life.
Okay.
And that is what this system teaches you how to do.
Okay. Now, the person may be afraid of emotion or conflict.
Yes.
Okay. So I think we talked about that. The person may not be a skillful communicator. Okay. Yes. Now I've experienced this in a previous relationship before the last one, where it's like they don't communicate, and then you have to draw the information out of them. It's like pulling teeth, you know, and then So talk about this. How can people become better communicators in relationships?
Or they have to start trusting that conflict doesn't lead to violence. In the African American community in particular, because we've grown up under such distress and stress and parents who are fighting and throwing stuff. I've watched my father throw a television down the stairs at my mother, for instance. I mean, we've watched some crazy things in our family units. And so sometimes we don't communicate because we are afraid to amp up the energy, because that always led to violence. Or it always led to a beating, or it always led to a problem, And so a lot of people don't want to.
Hey, repeat that. Your screen froze up, Kenya. Okay, repeat that again.
I was just saying that a lot of people grew up in violent, volatile scenarios, so they don't want the escalation to happen, because in their mind that could lead to danger and violence. So this system supports them in handling that trauma, because this system won't lead you to violence. It is a scripted way to communicate with your partner. Scripted.
Okay. All right. I think that helps, because oftentimes people may not have the words to express themselves, right, and they need help in that area. Okay. So
yeah.
Say that again.
They need a script.
They need a script.
Yeah.
Okay. So we talk about let's see, the person may not be skillful communicator. You'll gain the confidence and clarity to discover what exactly will make you feel better.
Yes.
Benefits of the workshop: health and happiness, intimacy, better communication, stronger humans. Talk about these.
Oh, absolutely. We want intimacy with our partner, but we don't realize why we don't trust them. We don't realize why we're mad at them. We don't realize because we haven't communicated. We haven't gotten to the bottom of how we feel and gotten that out. We don't even feel like we have space to do that. So that's a part of intimacy. A part of intimacy is being able to bottom out and tell your partner every single word of how you're feeling and have them hold you there. Very few have that skill. And so that opens up intimacy. When people stop having sex, 40% of married couples today do not have sex. They're totally sexless. 40%. And it's because of that intimacy issue that starts with communication problem. So that's what I mean by intimacy there.
So they have a communication problem, and then this leads to other areas of the relationship, and this leads to sex. So they have sexless marriages.
40%. That's almost half, Micah. So we have a big problem in this scenario. Somebody on your chat is asking, how could you bring this to your wife if she's reluctant? If you show her this page, the workshop is something that you can watch and see if it would be something that y'all can watch like Netflix. My libraries are like Netflix. They're more entertaining than Netflix. So when you show your wife something like this, you've already watched it, so you already know what to expect. She's going to just be like, oh, this is a date. Like, yeah, it's a fun thing to watch. It doesn't call her out. It doesn't call anyone out. It delivers in a very entertaining way, a system where y'all could communicate better.
Okay. And this is at uplevel.com, uplvl.com.
Yep.
Uplevel.com. We're going to post this here. This course is at uplevel.com as well. Okay. And this is how to communicate. This deals with how to communicate your most intense emotions without an argument. How to communicate your most intense emotions without an argument. All right. Now, let me scroll back down. Okay, so we have the benefits of the workshop. This workshop will support you in expressing intense emotion without causing an argument, so that you can get your needs met. You deserve to be heard. You deserve to be soothed. You deserve to be met. Okay.
I want to tell that to the men, especially because men sometimes feel like they're not supposed to have emotions and they're not supposed to feel heard, soothed, and met. They just got to power through it and just be strong and just act like, but that makes them withdraw from the relationship. Then they wonder why they end up hating their partner. It's because they cannot express anything to their partner without their partner getting an attitude.
Right.
They can't say it without their partner getting an attitude because they don't have this framework. And it's a very challenging thing, but it is easy to learn once you have a system and a script
Okay, and this is what you do in the course. You provide them with the script.
Yes.
Okay, so how to express intense emotion without causing an argument. So one-time payment of only $47. It's a 60-minute course, 60 minutes to gain confidence, expressing any intense emotion in a way that gets your needs heard.
Yes.
All right. So we have it right here at the website. We'll post a link again. Your emotion is not the problem. So oftentimes, okay, so one, I remember in a previous relationship, my partner, she was talking about love languages, and different people have different love languages. Okay. And we express love differently, etc. Right. But your emotion is not the problem. Many of us believe emotion is the problem. We worry that we're just too emotional and too much. And oftentimes, like in this society, women get labeled as being emotional. We see it in movies, we read about it in books, etc. So is there a certain amount of deprogramming that has to take place?
Yes.
Okay, talk about that. Dealing with
Emotions
women
are
being emotional.
Yeah, emotions are 100% natural, and both men and women are highly emotional. Humans are a highly emotional species. So this system helps you to accept the emotions. So when I used to be angry or sad or whatever, blah, 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 I wouldn't want people to know. You know how they say, oh, yeah, just put on your game face. Don't let nobody see you cry. Don't let nobody see you. No, that's
Right.
not healthy. It led me to cancer. It leads people to heart illnesses. It leads you to health problems. If you try to suppress the fact that you are an emotional being and that you have emotions, yes, you mad. You mad. It's okay. And so this system helps you to be mad. Stay mad and express that vent. Just put a container around it. Michael, you've done nothing wrong. This is just my ego speaking. I'm very angry. I'm at a level 8. Can I share it with you? And then you would say yes or no. That's part of the script. You would say yes or no. And you have an option. You don't have to hear my vent. But if you say yes, this system shows you how to express that anger. I'm going to express anger. And all you're going to say when I'm done is, thank you for sharing. How can I support you? That's the system. The system is so wonderful. Kids need it. I do it with my teenage kids. I do it with my husbands. I do it with my partners. I do it with my partners, other women. This is something that is so urgent for us as a community. I do it with my parents.
Right. You talk about here, the problem is that we are not taught in this culture to handle the emotions of others or ourselves.
Yes.
And it goes on to say here, I'm going to scroll down. Common emotions: anger, anger, number one issue, sadness, anxiety, boredom, resentment, jealousy, disgust, insecurity, frustration. But we break down westernized paradigms that prevent you from, in the course, you break down westernized paradigms that prevent you from understanding healthy ways to communicate emotion. We support you with the tools to communicate and ask for the soothing you desire. So talk about this Western paradigm, because all this stuff, it requires like really unlearning a lot of what we've been taught in this culture.
Yes, just the Western paradigm. The whole Western paradigm is to suppress emotion. That's why, I mean, the Western paradigm, when we talk about persons of European origin, this is not a people who can deal with like loud stuff or, emotional stuff or, hot sauce or, really expression, colors, dance, so the culture is about Victorian Christian values that be quiet, don't be, be conservative. That's a paradigm. That's not a reflection of what all humans are about. Okay, when you are a more emotionally colorful person, that doesn't mean you're bad or negative. That only means you're bad or negative in the Western culture. So we got to get out of that paradigm because it's not good. It's not even good for people in the West because those people are going in shooting up schools because they couldn't express an emotion, shooting up a party, shooting up a church because they have held their emotions. And it's a toxic masculinity that holds its emotions, and it's a toxic femininity that doesn't know how to contain and put a container around the emotion so that she can express it and get soothing.
Wow. Wow. So once again, this is requires relearning, requires unpacking, relearning. Now, how long have you been, just curious, how long have you been offering this course?
We've been offering, this course is new, but we wrote the book Up Level in 2019. So
okay, so hold it up higher on the
sure.
screen.
People
okay, up level communication.
Yes.
Okay.
It's
go ahead.
I just always ooze over this because people all around the world have read this. It has changed their relationship. It has supported their lives. So this course is new. This course is something that we did because people read the book and wanted more.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. So this course came out of the book in the response you got from the book, etc.
Yes.
All right. Let me just look at a little bit more of this here. And you go on to ask the question, and I'm going to turn back on the screen share here. So we have people on Facebook and YouTube watching. Are you very emotional inside and feeling alone or shut down? Do you have a partner you love but feeling unable to get your needs heard, seen, and met? You want to be honest and open in every relationship but feel afraid to express yourself fully. Are you looking for creative ways to express emotion without causing tension in your relationship? So talk about this for a minute, then I have a follow-up question for you.
Absolutely. Most people are feeling alone, even if they're in a relationship, especially if they do not have a container to express their emotions. When I met one of my partners, he was so much against wanting to hear my emotion, and he was against sharing his own emotion, and it made him very lonely in his life. He wasn't getting none of his needs met. He wasn't even expressing what his needs were. So it was a very challenging thing to get him to be vulnerable and open up. But once he did, he felt that connection to me, to others that he had not felt, even to his own child, because he was so packed in, and that
Right.
made you feel alone.
So in this society, we raise boys and girls differently when it comes to dealing with their emotions.
Yes.
And we raise boys to not cry, oftentimes not show emotions. And I think, yeah, now men by nature are protectors. In various societies, they're hunters, hunting game and things like this. So men are looked at as protectors. So there may be a time to cry, but when he has to protect his woman, that's not the time to cry, I don't think. But how do we balance the way we raise boys? And we want to raise boys to become men.
Right.
How do we raise boys to not to be able to express themselves and be in tune with their emotions, but not, breaking down and crying, when a commercial comes on? How do we do this?
Well, first of all, you got to go ahead and delineate feminine emotion and masculine emotion.
Okay.
A masculine emotion is punishable by law. So, when we say that we want men to be emotional, we're not just saying we want them to express the feminine range or the feminine spectrum of emotion. We want them to be able to express the masculine range of emotion. Masculine emotion, if you're shocked, a masculine emotion is to fight or flight. A masculine emotion is to yell, to punch a wall, to hurt something.
Right.
These things are normal masculine responses, but we don't let our son have those kind of emotions. If my son is mad at me and he wants to, I hate you, or something like, I allow him to do that. Why would I shut down his masculine emotion? Then when he try to get into feminine emotion, which is really the going downward and inward and withdrawn, and I'm just not speaking, I'm depressed and I'm crying, and we don't let him do that either. Masculine emotions are punishable by law. That's not fair. Then they get into the feminine emotion and withdrawing. We say, oh, you withdrawing, you're ghosting, you so feminine. We don't let them be in either one. So it starts by letting boys have masculine emotion. Let them punch something. I let my sons go get some bottles and hit the side of the house in a safe manner, put on some glasses and hit something.
Okay, get that exertion out.
Yes.
I've seen I was watching the episode of Walker Texas Ranger, and they had Hulk Hogan on, and he had a youth center for children, and he had two rival youth gangs there, and the leaders of the two rival gangs got into an argument, and they were about to fight. He said, okay, you want to fight, you want to sell this, we're going to do it the right way. So they put on boxing gloves and headgear, and they let them fight, but they didn't kill each other, they didn't bruise, they weren't bleeding, anything like that. You see what I mean? But they got that aggression out, and then they became friends.
Yes.
Okay. So is that something like what you're talking about? Absolutely.
With up-level communication, my husband can communicate in a masculine, emotional way to me. I'm not going to shut him down. If he needs to do name calling, if he needs to yell, if he needs to stomp, that's the masculine emotion. If I want men to show their emotion, I can't make them show it in a feminine way. They want to show it how they want to show it.
So the emotion in a woman manifests itself differently than the emotion in a man.
Ashe. But women are allowed to express masculine emotion. If I hit you, that's okay. If I yell at you, that's okay. But if a male expresses masculine emotion, now I can call the police and send him to jail. That's not fair. That's not fair.
No. Okay. Now, when you say if you hit me, you mean with your fist?
Yeah. If I hit you, and if I express masculine emotion or I throw something across the room, you're not going to call the police. You don't feel threatened by me.
Okay, but when you say hit a man, you okay? So we got to be clear on what we're talking about, because you've had football players killed by their girlfriends and things like that. So I don't think you're talking about trying to beat up somebody or beat somebody in the face, draw blood. I don't think that. I hope it doesn't.
I'm saying that women can express masculine emotion,
right?
But men cannot.
Right. But when women express masculine emotion, so you're not talking about somebody trying to beat somebody or domestic violence.
That happens every day. What I'm saying is the way that up level resolves that is you set a container and share your emotion.
Okay. So there rules and how you allow that anger to express. There are rules that the couple agrees upon.
Yes.
Okay, I see what you're saying.
And it's not even that the couple agrees upon. The system gives you a way to express rage in a healthy manner.
The up level system.
The up level system. So if you want to express rage, which you must.
Okay.
You're enraged at me, Michael, and you, my man. I want you to express your rage to me.
Okay.
And I accept that. I don't want you to sugarcoat it. I don't want you to not say it. I don't want you to hold it in. I don't want you to think you're negative for being angry. You're not. Anger is not a negative emotion.
Okay. As long as it's controlled, as long as it's channeled. Okay.
I would say channeled. I wouldn't say controlled, because I do want to hear your anger. If you're yelling, that's okay. You set container.
Yeah, the container, right.
Yes.
Okay. Very quickly here. So once again, this is available at uplevel.com, uplvl.com. How to communicate your heaviest emotions. Without a fight. Now, very quickly, I want to go back to the screen share here, and let me see here. Where is that? Okay, let's pull this back up. I love the fact that not only were we able to discuss difficult and highly charged topics with each other while learning more about ourselves as individuals and as a couple, we were given highly effective tools to help navigate and integrate the thing that we learned in our daily life. Okay, just talk about that for a minute, and anything else you want to leave us with.
Charged topics. That's exactly what we're saying. Highly charged topics. That's what we can communicate with up level without this problem of fighting. I can yell, I can cry, I can scream, I can do all of that. And then I know how to ask for the supports that I need, and my partner knows how to deliver them. It's all scripted and it works. Whether you are a person who gets too intense or a person who doesn't express because you're afraid of conflict, it can work for you. I love it.
All right. Excellent. Excellent. Well, people visit uplv.com, uplevel.com. You said this is also available at the Progressive Love Academy as well. ProgressiveLoveAcademy.com.
Yep. They can go to ProgressiveLoveAcademy.com. But if they want up level, go to uplevel.com and they'll see there's a free workbook there. If they just want to print out the free workbook on how to do it, there's also classes there. I mean, it's so wonderful. I'm going to throw in for the African History Network, the masculine emotion class, the one where I talk about how it's not fair how we treat men. And we calling them toxic. They toxic. No, they're not. The culture is toxic because it doesn't let them express in a masculine way or a feminine way. It's going to degrade them no matter what they do. So this the culture that is toxic.
So you said the masculine emotion. What was it you're throwing in? The masculine what?
Emotion workshop. I'm throwing that in for anybody who gets how to express intense emotion without an argument. It's $47. It's wonderful. Okay. And I'll put in another course with it.
Okay, so they're going to get two courses for those with the African History Network, our listeners. Very quickly here, you talk. So I hear in social media and all this toxic masculinity. Okay, I don't know what the hell that is, but you said, what did you just say about toxic?
It doesn't exist. Toxic masculinity doesn't exist. The culture is toxic, not the men, not the women, not the humans. It's what we've learned that is toxic. And up level helps us to unlearn the bad habits that we've learned.
Okay, so so toxic masculinity doesn't exist because the culture is toxic.
Yes.
Okay, and the way men act are like a byproduct of the culture, the programming from the culture. So we have to reprogram the way we're taught in this Western society.
That's right.
Reprogram that. Okay. All right. So that's something new for me because I mean I hear toxic. There's a whole bunch of stuff, all this stuff floating around. A lot of this, people know me. I don't deal with that. I deal with history and politics and law. All this. I don't have time for all that. But it's good to talk to you again, Kenya. People visit uplevel.com as well as progressiveloveacademy.com. Check her out and register for this course. And we'll talk to you next time. Okay.
Thank you. Thank you for having me, Michael.
No problem. Peace.
Bye.
Bye. All right, everybody. Be sure to follow us on our Facebook fan page, The African History Network, The African History Network, and my YouTube channel, Michael Imhotep, Imhotep. And the African History Network show, we're on Monday through Friday, 11 p.m. to 12 midnight Eastern Standard Time, and Sundays, 9 p.m. to 11 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. We're on 6 days a week. Okay. And you can also register for an online course that I teach as well. Ancient Kemet, the Moors, and the Ma'afa, Understanding the Transatlantic Slave Trade, where they didn't teach you in school. Ancient Kemet, the Moors, and the Ma'afa, Understanding the Transatlantic Slave Trade, where they didn't teach you in school. This is a 10-week online course I teach. We deal with thousands of years of history and what led up to the transatlantic slave trade taking place also. But be sure to listen to our daily show. We broadcast on social media, so all the shows are archived as well. And we're on 9 different audio podcast platforms: iHeartRadio, Castbox, FM Player, TuneIn, and broadcasts like this we put in audio podcast format as well. Okay. And if you want to support the African History Network, $, the AHN show through Cash App, $, the AHN show through Cash App, or through PayPal, paypal.me / the AHN show. So thanks for tuning in. Hopefully this helped somebody, I know I learned some things from it as well. So hopefully this will help you in your relationships. Remember, right now, it's correct. Wrong behavior is not over till we win. Wakanda forever. And we'll talk to you next time. Peace.